Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to my YouTube channel. I am your host, the Mighty Bjorn, and today I have for you a replay on PvE Hardcore Operation Spearhead. Myself in the BWP 2000, and Harry with his Object 187. So we're going to talk here a bit about the BWP 2000, which is currently a Tier 7 AFV that you can get from the Age of Rage Battle Path. It's actually not a bad vehicle. We'll take a quick look over it here. And this is actually a prototype IFV from Poland. It's actually not considered an AFV. Armored fighting vehicle, infantry fighting vehicle. There's not really much difference between the two. It's kind of one of those you'd understand better if you understood. We're more in depth with tanks and armored vehicles. The BWP 2000 is a prototype Polish infantry fighting vehicle. The development of the BWP began in the early 1990s as a replacement for the aging BWP-1.
But so far, all they've done is take. Move quickly and recapture the refinery.
Now the thing to cover is that all the BWP-1 is a Polish clone of the BMP-1, which they had licenses to build. It is constructed of a welded steel construction, and it is claimed that it could withstand up to 35mm projectiles. One of the prototypes was fitted with an Otto Morella T60/70A turret. It would be armed with a fully stabilized 60mm autocannon. That's actually what you see here. The 60mm autocannon is loaded with two 8-shot drums. The turret also carries two TOW missile launchers, one on each side, as you can also see here. Other turret armaments were also proposed, including a 23mm autocannon, a 35mm autocannon, and a 40mm autocannon, as well as a 105mm automatic loading tank gun. The BWP is crewed by 3, a commander, gunner, and a driver. It also accommodates 8 fully armed infantry soldiers. Soldiers enter and exit the vehicle from the rear ramp or the roof hatch. Actually, it's two smaller roof hatches. You can kind of see them there under the turret. The BWP 2000 is powered by a V46-6 engine that produces 780 horsepower. That would actually be an engine they used from a older T-72s. The engine is on the right side of the BWP towards the front of the vehicle. It also has a T-72 type dozer blade attached to the lower glacis. The project would end in 1999 with only 2 prototypes being produced. Now only one prototype would actually have the turret, as you see here. The other prototype was actually used as testing for a universal, light universal chassis. They wanted to use it. They had multiple theories on it. One version was to transport more infantry. I think it could transport up to 12 infantry, if I recall correctly. A mortar carrier, multiple things of that nature, vehicle recovery operations, armored reconnaissance, things of that nature, much like what we have with our M113s. And that is really it about the vehicle. Now, reading information about it and understand that the information I have is kind of old now, considering the information's from like 2012. But the information too, that being stated, the information made it seem like that while the BWP was not put into production, it is still on the table for possible production. Now that being said, the project ended almost 10 years ago, well, 10 years ago now. Or sorry, excuse me, like 20 years ago now. Um, I doubt this vehicle is ever going to see production at this point. But anyway, what you have here in Armored Warfare is you have a Tier 7 armored fighting vehicle. It does have a slow-firing 60mm gun, however, the rounds hit hard. They have good penetration. It's got the 2 tow missile launchers, so you have ATGMs, and they aren't bad. They got a fairly quick reload. They don't quite hit the hardest, but it's nice to have 2, especially compared to the Warrior only having 1. The 60mm autocannon only carries 16 shots, so basically they kind of rolled the 2 8-shot drums as pretty much a 16-shot drum. As you can see, it's got enough penetration to even penetrate the lower glacis of a Terminator. Now, one flaw I find with this vehicle is the camo is not bad, but it's not incredibly amazing. Its get up and go really isn't bad, but its top speed feels kind of sluggish. Pretty much, it accelerates quick to a point, and then it seems to kind of slow down. The vehicle itself does not seem to have any type of explosive reactive armor. However, there was actually an explosive reactive armor package developed for the vehicle. That being said, it's not modeled in game. You can get this at level 30 from the current Age of Rage Battle Path. I do feel it's a very good AFV. It's just not a bad machine. As you can see, I'm doing quite a bit of damage here. I'm using armor-piercing rounds with the autocannon, and that allows me a little bit more versatility. However, there does have high explosive rounds that can penetrate some of the lightly armored vehicles.
Identify target.
When it comes down to would I rather have this or the Warrior, I want to put in perspective that I completely skipped the Warrior. Well, not completely skipped it. I played it for a few games and found it absolutely abysmal. That does get me some hate from time to time. There's some people who absolutely loves the Warrior. I am not one of them. That was kind of a vehicle I played about 10 games and it went, nope, can't handle this no more. Got out of it, got into the Bradley. Been happy with the performance of Bradley ever since. This vehicle here, though, I don't mind playing. And in fact, since the Moscow is calling Spec Ops has dropped, I have completed most of my AFV completions in the BWP 2000. So all in all, I don't feel it's a bad vehicle. The armor, of course, is unreliable, but AFV. Now, the one weird thing, and I'm still trying to get a hang of it, I don't play this vehicle on a constant basis, is the placement of where the missiles come out. Because they come out, the first one comes out of the right side of the turret, the second one comes out of the left side of the turret, and you got to kind of account for the fact that it's coming out of the side of the turret and moving on an angle towards to where you're aimed. So we're going to cap this out here. At this point, I have next to no hit points, and I feel pretty confident about how the game has gone for me. Oh, I did forget to also mention here also that it does actually have very good spotting range for its tier. But there we go. There's the W. That shows you a little bit about the BWP 2000. Let's pull up the results. So I would do 9,480 damage, spot 8 enemy vehicles, and destroy 8 enemy vehicles. I would give myself a blue star. Now, that was a slightly close quarter aggressive gameplay. You shouldn't really be doing that with an AFV, but it just so happened to work out. Luckily, I had a very competent team supporting me, helping kill enemy vehicles. And it would roll out that I'd have 3,256 spotting damage. And I'd be the top overall for experience earned. Harry would be number 2 with 754 damage. And he would actually have way more spotting than anybody else, including myself. But yeah, so there you go, folks. That's a replay featuring the Polish BWP 2000. Hopefully you enjoyed the replay, even though I get a bit tongue-tied at times. Thank you very much for watching. And yeah, hopefully I will see you for the next video.